Most people live like they have forever. They postpone. They wait for the right moment. They save their energy for someday. And someday never comes. Because here's the truth nobody wants to face. You don't have forever. You have right now, and right now is already passing. The ancient philosophers had a phrase for this: memento mori. Remember, you will die. Not to scare you, not to depress you, but to wake you up. Because the moment you truly accept that your time is limited, everything changes. Your priorities shift, your tolerance for nonsense drops, your life becomes yours again. Here's how. First shift, you stop waiting. There's something you've been meaning to do. Start that project, have that conversation, take that risk, make that change. But you keep putting it off because it's not the right time, because you're not ready, because there's always tomorrow. Except there isn't. One day, there won't be a tomorrow, and all those things you were waiting for will die with you. When you remember you're going to die, you stop treating time like it's infinite. You stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting for fear to go away. Because you realize fear doesn't go away. You just run out of time to act despite it. There was an emperor who ruled an empire, and every morning he'd write the same reminder: you could leave life right now. Not as a threat, as clarity. Because when you accept that today might be your last, you stop wasting it on things that don't matter. You stop scrolling for hours, stop having pointless arguments, stop staying in situations that drain you. Not because you're rushing, because you're awake. And awake people don't wait, they move. Second shift, small things stop mattering. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Normally, you'd be angry. You'd replay it in your head. You'd let it ruin your morning. But then you remember, I'm going to die. And suddenly that anger feels absurd, because you just wasted 30 seconds of your limited existence being upset about something that doesn't matter, with someone you'll never see again. This is what happens when death becomes real to you. Perspective arrives. The coworker who talks too much, the friend who forgot your birthday, the stranger who was rude online, none of it touches you anymore. Not because you don't care, because you care about the right things. Your peace, your people, your purpose. Everything else is noise. One of the old Stoics put it this way: it's not death a man should fear, but never beginning to live. And most people never begin because they're too busy being bothered by things that won't matter in a week. But when you live with death in mind, you become allergic to wasting time on stupid things. You don't have the energy for petty drama. You don't have the patience for fake relationships. You don't have the space for anything that doesn't add to your life. Because you finally understand, time isn't something you have, it's something you're losing right now, every second. Third shift, you say what needs to be said. There are words you've been holding back, an apology, a confession, a boundary, a truth someone needs to hear. But you stay quiet because it's uncomfortable, because you don't want conflict, because you'll do it later. Except later might not come. When you remember you're going to die, you realize silence has a cost. Not the cost of saying the wrong thing, the cost of never saying the right thing. How many people die with words still trapped inside them? I love you. I'm sorry. I forgive you. I can't do this anymore. All unsaid, all wasted, because they thought they had time. But you don't have time. None of us do. So you speak. You tell people what they mean to you. You set boundaries with people who drain you. You apologize for things you actually regret. You stop pretending everything's fine when it's not. Not because you're being reckless, because you're being honest. And honesty is what you owe the people who matter before you run out of chances to give it. There's a letter written 2,000 years ago where a man told a friend, "Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life." Because when you live like it's the end, you stop saving your truth for later. You give it now, while it still matters, while the people you love can still hear it. Fourth shift, you stop living for others. Most people are living someone else's life, their parents' expectations, their partner's dreams, their friends' approval, society's definition of success, and they call it their life. But it's not. It's a performance, and they're exhausted. When you remember you're going to die, you stop performing because you realize the audience won't be there at the end. When it's over, when you're lying there in those final moments, it won't be your boss next to you, or your critics, or the people you tried so hard to impress. It'll just be you. And the only question that will matter is, did I live my life or someone else's? This is when you start making different choices. You leave the job that's killing you. You stop pretending to enjoy things you hate. You cut off relationships that only survived because you're afraid to be alone. Not because you're being selfish, because you're being real. And real is the only thing you can take with you. The philosopher who was once a slave said it clearly. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid by others. Translation: live your life, not theirs. Because their opinions die with them anyway, and so do you. The only difference is you can choose what you do with the time between now and then. Fifth shift: presence becomes possible. Most people are never actually here. They're in the past, replaying old wounds, holding grudges, living in regret. Or they're in the future, worrying about what might happen, planning for someday, waiting for life to start. But they're never here, in this moment, the only moment that actually exists. When you remember you're going to die, presence becomes automatic, because you realize this moment is all you have, not the past, it's gone, not the future, it doesn't exist, just this. And suddenly this becomes enough. The conversation you're having, the meal you're eating, the person sitting across from you, the sun on your face, it all becomes vivid, real, valuable, because you know it won't last. Nothing lasts. And that's not depressing, that's what makes it matter. There's a reason flowers are beautiful. They die. There's a reason sunsets move you. They end. There's a reason this moment matters, because it's the only one you'll ever have. The man who ruled Rome wrote this at night when the empire was quiet. Loss is nothing but change, and change is nature's delight. He wasn't being poetic, he was being honest. Everything you love will end. Everyone you know will die. Every moment you have will pass. And that's not a reason to be sad, it's a reason to be here, fully here, while you still can. Ending. You're going to die. Maybe in 60 years, maybe tomorrow. You don't know. And that's exactly the point. Because if you knew, if you had a date circled on a calendar, you'd live differently. You'd stop waiting. You'd stop worrying about small things. You'd say what needs to be said. You'd stop living for others. You'd finally be present. But here's the secret. You don't need a date. You just need to remember every single day that your time is running out. Not to make you afraid, to make you alive. Because people who remember they're dying don't waste time being half awake. They move, they speak, they choose, they live. And when the end comes, whenever it comes, they won't have regrets about the life they didn't live. Because they lived it, all of it, right up until the last breath. Memento mori. Remember, you will die. Not someday, today. So what are you waiting for?